The federal foreclosure and eviction moratoriums were put in place last September to stop foreclosures of homeowners unable to pay their loans and to stop evictions of tenants unable to pay rent due to the global health crisis. But now, after 4 extensions, the moratoriums are officially over as of July 31st. That means lenders can foreclose on the nearly 2 million homeowners behind on their payments, and after 16 months of being able to live rent-free, landlords can finally evict the 6 million Americans behind on rent. So in this video, get ready to learn all of the details and what this means for you as an investor. Coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Virtual Flipper Kit with everything you need to flip houses without seeing them in person. Download it now at virtualflipperkit.com.
Recently, I did a video explaining in detail what to expect now that the foreclosure moratorium has ended and lenders can resume with foreclosing on borrowers for non-payment. Definitely watch that video. I'll put the link in the description below for you. But let me take a minute and explain the eviction moratorium because this was a complete fiasco. Here's the long story made short. President Trump directed the Center for Disease Control, or CDC, to issue a federal ban on foreclosure and evictions. Now, this was a problem because the CDC technically doesn't have the authority, so Congress ratified the ban via legislation. Now, it was only meant to be for a short time, but then the CDC extended the moratoriums 4 times, which finally ended August 1st. So for a total of 16 months, tenants did not have to pay rent. Meanwhile, landlords have remained responsible for the mortgages, taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs, etc. And what's appalling is the complete disregard for the massive financial devastation suffered by mom and pop landlords across this country as a result of tenants remaining in properties for up to 16 months and not paying rent. And as you can imagine, after the first extension, lawsuits ensued by various groups of landlords, challenging in multiple federal courts the validity of the CDC eviction moratorium from both a statutory as well as a constitutional basis, particularly since the moratorium was extended without any congressional authorization. And big win for landlords, the court ruled that the CDC in fact did not have the authority to extend the moratorium without congressional action. But since it was set to expire shortly after the ruling, the court decided to let it continue for another 30 days until the expiration date of July 31st. What's another month of uncollected rent? No biggie. Now, this is important. The court ruling was in late June, which meant Congress had over 30 days until the deadline to organize and pass legislation to further extend the moratoriums. And this is where things got really interesting. The Biden administration and liberal Democrats waited until less than 72 hours before the July 31st deadline, which also happened to be when Congress was set to recess for summer vacation, before saying or doing anything about the extension. So what happened? Despite what appeared to be a desperate effort to organize, Congress failed to meet and pass the legislation, and the moratoriums expired. Now, here's the story that most people don't know and the media sure doesn't talk about. The moratorium extensions failed for 2 primary reasons. The first reason is public opposition. When Biden and pro-extension Democrats started pushing for another extension at the last minute, organized landlord groups sprang into action. Within mere hours, Congress was flooded with communications from real estate investor groups and other organizations opposing any attempt to extend the foreclosure and eviction moratoriums. Reason number 2 is it wouldn't have mattered anyways. There was literally no chance for an extension to make it through the US Senate given its 50-50 balance of power. So the waiting around to the last minute, then a huge outburst by Biden and liberal Democrats was all theatrics. Now, before you think this is a huge win for landlords, hold on a second. We're only talking about the federal level. Several states have chosen to extend the eviction ban past July 31st, including California, New York, Hawaii, New Jersey, Oregon, Illinois, Maryland, Nevada, and Massachusetts. A few of these states opted for smaller extensions like late August, but others pushed the ban until 2022. Boy, am I glad I don't own any rentals in those states. So the question you should be asking is, will there be an influx in properties for sale as a result of the moratoriums ending? Now, as far as foreclosures, I don't think so, at least not anytime soon. Lenders still have federally mandated requirements that they must follow in order to foreclose, and the foreclosure process takes a long time. Again, I did a video that explains why we won't see a flood of foreclosures, link in the description. But the eviction ban ending is a completely different story. I believe we're going to see a big increase in inventory that will hit the market as tired landlords are finally able to sell their rental properties. Consider these statistics. A recent census survey found 15% of renter households, or 6.7 million, said they were behind on their rent. Additionally, nearly 27% or 11.8 million households have slight or no confidence in their ability to pay next month's rent. Some estimates are that close to $60 billion in back rents and fees are owed since the pandemic began. And the thing is, some large multifamily rental companies can probably weather some missed payments, but smaller landlords often cannot. And according to the National Rental Home Council, 60% of single-family rental owners are owed back rent. So let's discuss two primary reasons why landlords are going to be eager to sell their properties and how this will impact the housing market and what this means for you as an investor. But first, let's consider the time frame and what the eviction process is going to look like. Every municipality is going to handle the eviction process differently. Smaller courts aren't going to be able to handle the influx of filings, and the process will be slow. But in some markets, the laws allowed for landlords to already complete every part of the eviction process except the physical removal step. In those markets, evictions could happen in a matter of days or weeks. And unlike lenders who, in order to proceed with foreclosure, are required to offer delinquent borrowers loan modifications and other measures to keep them in the properties and avoid foreclosure, landlords don't have the same mandates and are going to be eager to evict the tenants for two reasons. First, the demand for rentals has increased dramatically since the onset of the pandemic. The median nationwide rental rate reached a record high in June at $1,575 per month, an 8% increase from 1 year earlier, and rental rates have risen 9.3% so far in 2021. Many landlords who, by the way, feel they have been taken advantage of will be eager to evict their current non-paying tenants on old leases and sign up new tenants at the current increased market rates. And the second reason why landlords are going to be eager to evict is so that they can sell their rental properties. If you could find anything good about 16 months of no rental income, it's that home values nationwide have soared and tired landlords are going to be eager to cash in and recover their losses. And as expected, in the current housing market, which is seeing very high demand and a record low number of homes for sale, homes listed by landlords will likely sell to owner-occupants and evaporate from the rental housing stock. The pandemic-induced run on housing in the past year has caused the amount of rental stock to decrease by over 250,000 units. So what does this mean for investors who are looking for good deals to acquire, like me and you? It means there's going to be an opportunity in coming weeks and months to buy distressed properties from these tired landlords. Many of these properties are going to be in disrepair since tenants have been living in them for up to 16 months rent-free. You better believe there's going to be some deferred maintenance going on. Now, some of these landlords that want to sell, they're going to spend the money to fix them up so that they can get top retail, but many are in major financial hardship and don't have the means or the desire and will be willing to sell quick, as is, for all cash. And therein lies the opportunity. Now, I recommend you do what I'm doing and target absentee owners right now. An absentee owner is someone who owns a property, but it's not their primary residence. That means it's probably a rental property. So let me share with you two of my favorite methods for contacting burned out landlords. The first method is free and works like magic. Go to Craigslist and look for vacant homes for rent. Now, not for sale, but for rent. A vacant property for rent is the perfect time to contact a tired landlord because they're not bringing in any rent. Call the owner and ask him if he's interested in selling. Now, if you want to see what this looks like, check out a video where using a real live example of me calling tired landlords. I'll put the link to that in the description below and you can check it out. Now, best of all, this strategy, like I said, is free. My other favorite method is to get a list of absentee owners using my Flipster system. If you've never heard of Flipster, it's a cloud-based, all-inclusive system for automating, streamlining, and organizing all of the steps to wholesaling and flipping houses, including over a dozen motivated seller lead types, and absentee owners is one of them. Using Flipster, you can pull a list of absentee owners in your market, then you can call them or text them or send them direct mail and do all of that using Flipster. So to learn more and see it in action, just go to getflipster.com. And to help you know exactly what to say and how to overcome objections when talking to absentee owners, I'll give you my word-for-word scripts for free. Just go to freesellerscripts.com to download that now. All I ask in return is you leave a comment and say, "Thanks for the resources, Jerry. You are a flipping genius." And in the states that are extending eviction moratoriums, these poor landlords are going to be in a world of hurt when they can finally evict and get control of their properties. So pay close attention to when those moratoriums will end so that you can be ready. Now, aside from tired landlords being an opportunity to get discounted properties right now, the reason why tired landlords are my favorite motivated seller leads are because they are investors, not homeowners. It's a financial decision to sell their property, and as such, there is less drama involved than with homeowners. You can skip all of the steps to build rapport and uncover their motivation and being sensitive to their issues. No, with landlords, it's simple. They're tired of being a landlord. They don't feel like fixing up their property. If your cash offer works, they'll sell it to you. If it doesn't, they'll tell you no. End of story. So next, watch a video where you'll see me do this in-your-face style negotiating with a tired landlord on a fire-damaged house. Watch that now, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. With over 725 videos, this is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things flipping, and I'll see you on the next video.